Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel Break the Ice. This is an accumulation of almost a year's work. So I'm going to get straight to the point. There is a photograph of Myra Hindley, okay? Myra Hindley is leaning up against a slab of rock. She's holding a dog and she's looking down to the ground. 30% of the photograph is the earth. She's looking at the ground, so's the dog. As a side note, this is known as a trophy photograph. And the reason for that is because they believe, I say they, a lot of people, people in authority, the police, anyone to do with the case, certain family members believe that this could be where Keith Bennett is buried. Reason for that is because there is another photograph which is almost identical. And it is of Myra Hindley kneeling down. She's holding a dog. She's looking down at the ground. She's on the moors. And 30%-ish of the picture is the earth. In both of these photos, Myra Hindley is not the subject. The earth is the subject. In this photograph, John Kilbride was found where she was looking, right? Now, the other photograph, which is a mirror image, in my opinion, no one knows where this photograph was taken. Many people believe she's marking a grave. I will tell you right now, right now, and I can and will and have proven that me and my colleague Stuart know where this photograph was taken. And we just want somebody with the power or in the within the family, an authorised search figure, the police, whoever, to look at the evidence that we have. And it's compelling. And once this evidence has been seen, you will know that this area needs searching. I'm going to put my cards right on the table now and say this loud and clear. I am not saying that there is a body where Myra's looking in this photograph. I'm not saying Keith Bennett is lying where Myra's looking. I'm not saying anybody's there. What I'm saying is that one photograph is marking the burial site of John Kilbride, and that was proven. That's where, sadly, he was. So the mirror image photograph, doesn't logic dictate that there could be a body there? And wouldn't logic say that it's definitely worth a search? If only we know where it is. Well, we do know where it is. And this is the whole point of what I'm doing right now. And it's the whole point of putting that waterfall video up the other day onto YouTube. That waterfall in that video, the photograph of that I took, it's the same waterfall that Brady photographed with Myra in it. Brady was a master of manipulation in terms of how he was generally as a person, but also with his photography. In the photograph that uncovered John Kilbride, there was rows of rocks in the background. He removed them himself because he had a dark room. He developed his own photographs. He removed those rocks so you couldn't identify where this was. And the way that they identified where the photograph was taken was by finding the negatives and redeveloping the photographs. And then they worked out where this was. They dug up where she was looking, and John Kilbride was sadly found. So the other photograph, no one knows where it is. And like I said, we have proven it. What I'm going to get into now is I'm going to explain what me and my colleague Stuart have been doing for the past year, why we've been doing it, how it came about, and everything that we have done, everything we've done to try and get this area searched. One final time before I get into it, we know where this photograph was taken, and we can prove it. And I'm going to say right now, before I go any further, all that I and my colleague Stuart want is for the police, for someone in Keith Bennett's family, for any authorised search figure or party to do with the Moors Murders case, anybody who's got the power, basically, to do something about it, is to sit down with us and to look at the evidence. That's it. That's it. If you think we're a pair of whack jobs and we're full of shit, then leave. Then leave. That's fine. But I'm telling you, once you've seen the evidence and the overlay, because what we've got is we found this area, which has took a year to do, almost. And then we took a photograph. I mean, I've been in this area with strings, trying to get lines of sight, had to tidy areas up. We've got to get the angle of the photograph, of the where Brady would have took the photograph. It's been painstaking. This has been out of the media. This has been off YouTube. This has been privately done, right? And all we want is the police, someone in the Bennett family, to look at our evidence. So the reason for that waterfall video was to get attention onto what we have, to show that the picture of the waterfall that I've taken is the right waterfall. To give credibility to the fact we're saying we found this trophy photograph, right? Some people are saying that that's not the right area. Fine. There's a lot of people that are saying that photograph that I've taken looks very, very similar to the photograph that Brady took. It's took from a different angle because he was higher up. I don't exactly know where he was stood. 60 years has gone by as well. A lot of people are saying it looks very similar, and does the area need searching? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And all we're trying to do is help. I've done a lot of work on the Moors murders, right? And I was very good friends with a member of the Kilbride family. So I'm going to take you back now to where this all began. Now, in September of 2024, this is the presentation. This presentation was made for the police who don't want to see it. So I received an email in September 2024 that read this. Now, I received that email and I got on the phone to this gentleman. By the way, really, really, really nice guy. Top, honest man with integrity. We were speaking and I knew straight away that I wasn't dealing with a crank. I've done a lot of work on the Moors murders, as a lot of people know. I don't want to deal with a crank. I don't want to waste people's time. I don't want to upset anybody trying to help, right? So we was on the phone and I said to Stuart, so what have you done regards to this information, basically? Because Stuart has located a area of the Moors, you know, a few 100 yards of an area. I said to him, what have you done then with this information that you've got about this area? He has had the police at his house. I think it was, I'm not sure which police force it was. I don't want to misquote. I don't want to get name the wrong police force, but he's had the police at his house. He's had emails and they told him that they're going to put his information onto the Holmes computer, which is like I think it's like a database for cold cases or something like that. Holmes, as in Sherlock Holmes, Holmes. So I said, right, okay, that's a shame. Hard evidence is a body. They won't act without hard evidence. So that is basically saying you need to uncover the body. But at the same time, you're not supposed to dig in certain parts of the moors because some areas are owned by private companies, farmers, water board, different water boards, this, that and the other. So the police say we can't act without hard evidence. Okay, so how do we give you hard evidence? Well, you need to like get a shoe or a button or a bone, but you're not allowed to dig. Okay, well, that make sense. How are we supposed to do it then? So that was the first thing that happened. That was the first conversation with Stuart. Now, whilst I was on the phone talking about the fact that he's been to the police already and it's gone from one police force to Manchester Police, Greater Manchester Police, sorry, onto the Holmes computer. So he tried to go to the police. I then said, well, what do you like, what would you like me to do with respect? And he said, I would like to get in touch with a particular member of Keith Bennett's family. Now, I'm not going to mention his name, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work it out. So he said to me, Stuart said, I want to basically show this information to this member of Keith Bennett's family. Now, whilst I was on the phone to Stuart, I said, what, you want to get this information to a member of Keith's family? He's like, yeah. I went, done. He went, what? I went, done. What do you mean? Whilst we were talking, I sent this member of Keith Bennett's family the email that Stuart had sent to me and this message. Stuart went to the police. I then went straight, immediately to this member of Keith Bennett's family because I wanted Stuart to work with this member of Keith Bennett's family, not me. I did the morally correct thing. Didn't want to know, right? Kind of understandable because this person's been let down before. So I don't kind of begrudge that. But I did go to that member of the family back in September. And the evidence is there. So anyone that thinks that... Part of this video is because the video the other day about the waterfall, people were saying, have you gone to the family? Have you gone to the police? Yes. That's why I changed the title saying police and family approached. Of course. Not just once to the police, but twice. This is the route we've gone down to try and get this area searched. So, I then said, I will work with you on this to try and locate, because at the time, he didn't know where the photograph of Myra was, but he knew the general area. And what's interesting, very, very interesting, is that, I keep glancing at the photograph, it's just right there next to me. What's very interesting is that photograph, and I'll keep emphasising this, proven, that photograph is in the vicinity of this waterfall. Part of the reason why this waterfall was taken is because of its proximity to this photograph. So I spent the past 10, well, probably 9 actually. No, actually, I went there the other day. 10 months working with Stuart to try and find where this photograph was taken. Probably between us, over 1,000 man hours. Hundreds of pounds of petrol. Days off paid work, days off paid jobs. Loads of travelling. Exhaustion. Sometimes not seeing my own child for one night because I'm working on this. Stuart, who is an old man, 77, doing a trek in this really quite dangerous area on Saddleworth Moor. He fell over, he face planted, he hurted his knee, he hurt his back, he hurt his hip. We put a lot into this, and has anybody known about it? Has it ever been on my channel? No. Because we've done this the correct way. And the waterfall video had to be released because no one will listen until this week. Now, we then found where this photograph was taken through various different methods, but I found it. So then it was, well, now we need it searched. So we then put a presentation together here. It goes on. Anyway, this presentation was put together. It goes on. And it's put together for the police. Stuart contacted the police because he's had that line open with them, and he contacted them back in I think he first contacted them in 2021. Don't quote me, but I think it was. So once we'd identified this location, we then put the presentation together with the proof and the overlay that we know where this photograph was taken. And again, to reiterate, if there's a photograph of Myra and a dog looking down at the ground, which was marking John Kilbride, wouldn't logic dictate that the photograph that we've identified is marking another grave? So we made this presentation for the police. The police didn't want to see it. They cannot act without hard evidence. Just because you've got a photograph, it doesn't prove that there's a body there. Okay? Very, very frustrating, this. Really, really frustrating stuff. So, Stuart went to the police in 2021. That's the first thing. I contacted the Bennett family member, number 2. They didn't want to follow it up. Number 3, we then spent all this time, 10 months, on the moor. I think 14, 15 times been to the moors. YouTube's not known about it. We've kept it under wraps. I've never said anything about it because we've tried to do this the correct way. So that's the third thing we did. The fourth thing we did was go to put this presentation together for the police. That's the fourth thing. They can't act without hard evidence, blah, blah, blah. So the fifth thing that we did was I rang John Wedger. And he won't mind me saying that I rang him because he's told me to document everything. A lot of respect for John Wedger, so if you're watching, hello, John. And I said to John, I was like, John, this is what we're doing at the moment. The police don't want to know. We've got evidence. It's overwhelming. Because what we've done is with this photograph, we've matched lots of background features. And we've done the overlay. So we've matched the background of said photo. Found that slab, by the way, that big slab. I'll go into that later. I said to John, I was like, we've proven it beyond all doubt. And then, we've got this overlay. So we've got our photograph, which I'm not going to put on here, by the way. Because if anyone can work out where it is, they'll be down there digging it up. And we don't want that. We want the police or the Bennett family to look at this evidence. We don't want every Tom, Dick and Harry down there with a spade. We're trying to avoid that at all costs. So please, reach out if you want to see this evidence. It's not hard. So I spoke to John Wedger and I said, the police won't act about hard evidence, this, that and the other. And we know that this location has been found. And he said, what you need is a cadaver dog. How do I get a cadaver dog? And he put me in touch with somebody. Me and Stuart had a meeting with a cadaver dog expert and his colleague, and we showed him the evidence. We showed him it. He agreed that it was a trophy photograph, and he was shocked by what we proved. And he said, yep, we will go up there, we'll put the holes in the ground, and we'll get the dogs over to sniff. That shows how compelling our evidence is. He's a very busy guy, and we put some dates, penciled some dates in, and God knows where he is. Like I said, we had a few dates lined up, and he's just fell off the face of the earth. I don't know where he is, but I'm not in the game of chasing people around. So whatever you're up to, I hope you're all right. Good luck, but obviously he's no longer interested. So let's reel them all off again. Went to the police in 2021. Went to a member of the Bennett family. Spent 10 months doing the work on the moors without making it a public thing. We then put the presentation together for the police. We went back to the police. The police didn't want to know. They need hard evidence. They won't go and dig without hard evidence, but we can't dig. We've then found out who owns the land. Nobody will listen to this. So what we've got, look at the evidence. What are we to do when we're so confident that we've located, and again, I'm not saying we found Keith or a body, but we've located that photograph. What are we to do? Spend the rest of our lives just going, oh yeah, we know where the photograph was taken, but let's just forget about it. No. If push comes to shove and we get permission from whoever owns the land, it's gonna have to be searched. Hopefully, I don't want to do it. So the thinking would be, and I hope it doesn't come to this, is that once permission is granted, if it is, then speak to somebody else who's a professional to search the area. Obviously, I know Peter Falding. If we do get permission, I'll see if Peter Falding wants to search it. Whether he will or he won't, I don't know. So we've tried to do everything. Not to sound like a broken record, but contacted the police on 2 occasions, contacted the Bennett family, made this presentation, contacted the owners of the land, spent 10 months locating where this photograph was taken, spoke to a cadaver dog expert, spoke to a former Scotland Yard detective, trying to see if we can get this permission, if Peter Falding will come down. Doing everything in the correct manner, in the morally right way to get this very small. By the way, this area that we've identified, where the photograph was taken, it's really small. It's probably about 7 foot by 4 foot. Wouldn't take a long time to search it at all. It really wouldn't. And it's a shame. It's a shame that the police won't go and search it. People think that the waterfall isn't the correct waterfall. Yes, it is. I can prove that as well. Right, let me go to that actually, while we're on it. Right. Firstly, right, you know that slab that Myra's leaning up against, right? Well, that slab features in the top left-hand side of the waterfall photograph, right? If you look at my waterfall photograph, right, I'm going to do a comparison on these 2 photographs now for you. Now look at Brady's photograph. On the right-hand side, you've got like a dark area, like an oblong dark area. My photograph, you've got those rock faces. That's the dark area. In the middle, you've got that kind of waterfall drop. In my photograph, you've got a drop, right? If you look at what in front of my rope, what looks like a stream, if you look on my photograph, it's very shaly and rocky. When it's been hammering it down for months with rain, that rocky area in my photograph will fill up with water, and it'll take on the characteristics of a stream. Now, if you look at the left-hand side of Brady's photograph, it's all moundy and rocky, and in the top left, you've got that slab. Right, now look at my photograph. It's moundy and rocky, and in the top left, you've got that slab. So you've got a slab in my photograph, you've got a slab in the Brady's waterfall photograph, and you've got a slab in the trophy photograph that Myra's leaning up against, that slab is very, very important. And also, when I was up where that photograph, the trophy photograph, was taken, trying to get the right angle for the photograph, I tripped up over a little bit of pipe sticking out of the ground. I pulled that pipe, it was buried. I just had to jiggle it and move it and all that. Pulled that pipe, which was lying right next to the slab, right next to that slab. I pulled it, the slab went tumbling off the side. Here's a photograph now of that slab down in that waterfall area, because it went tumbling. So when I was in the area of where that photograph was taken, the trophy photograph, and I tripped up over that pipe and I pulled it out. It's about that, you can't see that, can you? It's about 2 foot long, it's cast iron, it's heavy, and it just happens to be right where this trophy photograph was taken. Just sticking out of the ground, but it had been buried. Why is that? It's got no reason to be there. This photograph is taken in a very, very dangerous area, right? You don't want to be going down there. So, yeah, it's very dangerous, but I'm an idiot, so I was down there taking the photographs and trying to work things out. Why is that pipe there? I don't know. That's conjecture. Could it have been a weapon? Who knows? But that is conjecture. But what isn't conjecture is where this trophy photograph was taken. Right, now that slab went tumbling over the edge, but it landed in one piece, and it's an absolute blessing in disguise, because I went down there the other week to measure it, to measure the slab, and it measures 173 centimetres in length. Now Stuart, he's like the computer photograph whiz kid. He's not a kid, he's 77, but you get the point. And he does all the overlays, and he is able to work out how long the slab in the trophy photograph is. There's also features on this slab which match up with the slab that she's leaning up against. Spoke to Stuart the other day, because they only went down and measured it less than a week ago. And I said 173 centimetres, is it definitely the same slab? And he went 100%. He's going to do an overlay on that as well. He's just working on that at the moment. We've got the overlay on the evidence of the trophy photograph. Now we're getting the overlay on that slab. So here's a photograph of the slab that I took the other day. And then you can see the photograph of the slab behind Myra. And Stuart, again, who is the photography kind of overlay computer tech whiz kid, has said that it is the same slab. So not only have we got the evidence of where the picture was taken, but we've got the evidence that the slab's correct. It's the same slab. And it's right next to that waterfall. It's not, well, it's not. It was near the waterfall. It's now in the waterfall area. So all these things added up together, there's so much to say that this small area needs searching. It 100% needs searching. The police need to go and check it out. I will go and take a plainclothes police officer in an unmarked car to this location, show them the evidence, show them the overlay, say, take your own photographer, this is the slab, this is the waterfall, blah, 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 blah. And they can be the judge. I'm offering that right here, right now. We can do it tomorrow. To anyone in Keith Bennett's family, I can show you this evidence. I can take you to this location. You can take your own camera. The same applies. Now, that's that. That's the whole process. So anyone that just thinks that we've just gone to the malls and gone, oh, there's a waterfall, that's got to be the same one from the picture of Myra. No, it wasn't like that, and it isn't like that. This is 10 months of hard work. Very, very hard work. And we've gone through so many different channels. I don't mean TV channels, I mean like, you know, the police and Bennett family and search experts, cadaver dog experts, trying to speak to the landowners, all sorts. To no avail. To no avail. It's obviously quite frustrating, this whole thing, because we know that all it takes is for the right person to see the evidence, and they should be straight down there searching this area. So I spoke to a victim of the Moors murders family yesterday, won't name them, and I said, look, the police don't want to see the evidence. If the member of Keith Bennett's family doesn't want to see the evidence or thinks we're a pair of nutters or whatever, that's fine. That's fine, whatever. It's a shame, but whatever, that's your prerogative. So I said to this person, I said, I'm inviting you to come to meet me and my colleague, and we will show you this evidence. We will show you it. And then this person can go away and he can speak to whoever he wants to speak to, whether it's his own family, whether he wants to go to the police, whether he goes to this member of Keith Bennett's family, and lets them know, do you know what? You do need to see this evidence. What they have is actually massive. And I tell you right now, and I will not eat my words, once this person has seen this evidence in a few days' time, and once they go back to the whoever, whether it's his own family, the police, or the Bennett family, because of what he will see and he will know the magnitude, I know that this person will say, we need to do something about it. We need to do something about it. They've got something. So as a collective, this family and the Bennett family should go to the police and say, you need to go and see Luke and Stuart, and you need to see their evidence. You need to see it. We demand you go and see it, and we demand you go and search the area. And if that happens, and this area is searched, if Brady has done what he did with the burial site of John Kilbride and mark it by putting Myra over it with a dog looking down at the ground, kneeling, if he's done the same thing with the other photograph, which we've identified, it very, very may well lead to the deposition site of another victim. That could be Keith Bennett, that could be another victim, there may be more. There may be more. So that is all that we want to happen. That's it. So I'm going to say it one final time. Anyone in the Bennett family, you want to see this evidence? It's waiting for you. The police, the presentation with the evidence, it's waiting for you. I am pleading with you to take a look at it, because I think you're going to be very, very, very surprised. And thank you to the member of the other family who's agreed to come and meet me this week to see it all, because you're in for a bit of a shock. And only good can come of it. Final thought is, if this photograph, if there is no body in that area, if there's no body buried, then at least now we can finally say that photograph means nothing. And that little niggle in the back of the mind from anyone that's involved in the case can say, right, that photo means nothing. We can ignore that now. But if he's done the same thing that he did with John Kilbride's deposition site, it may well lead to another victim. And this could end the Moors murders. This could close the book. So that's what my last year's been like since September. That's the process. And we've been to everybody to try and get this area searched, and we've tried everything to be took seriously. And when no one's listening, and when the police say we can't act without evidence, when the family member says that he doesn't want to meet up with Stuart, and when the cadaver dog expert goes quiet, and when you can't go and search yourself, not that I want to, but push comes to shove, I or someone will have to. If you can't search because you've not got the permission of the landowners, what are you to do? So that was why I released the waterfall video the other day, to show that we are credible. We are credible. I don't begrudge anyone that thinks like this is a load of bollocks and you're a pair of wackos. Fine, that's your opinion. Your opinion is none of my concern, yeah? But I'll tell you something. What is the harm in the police looking at this evidence? What is the harm in the family looking at this evidence? So I'm so grateful that a member of the other family is going to see it, because that will then go back to other people, and I think something will come of this. So that's what's happened. A year of very, very hard work, and I've not mentioned it on YouTube once, because it's not been about that. But my hand was forced to put a little video out the other day to get some attention on to this this discovery. This person in the Bennett family has got my on Messenger, and if they want to get my phone number, they can speak to a multitude of people to get it, and they can speak to me. That offer is always open. It's all we want. So that is that, and that's what's happened over the past year. To conclude, that is where John Kilbride was buried, fact, and that photograph has never been, the area of that photograph, the location has never been discovered. Me and Stuart know where it is. Do you think that needs searching? Because I tell you what, I sure do. Leave your comments, share this video because it does need sharing, and yeah, hopefully something comes of this. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and as always, peace out.